everybody. It's Kevin here with the Social Nostra. Welcome to the show today, where we talk to real people who are real interesting. And today is no exception. I'm talking to Kimberly Tocco from the Tenacious T podcast. Hey, Kimberly, how's it going?
Hey, thanks for having me on. Hey.
So as everybody's been kind of plugging into Social Nostra and what we're doing, like we sort of highlight and feature really interesting people that we come across. And, you know, Kimberly's a fellow podcaster who has a pretty incredible story. So Kimberly, why don't we just talk a little bit about maybe your background and kind of like what you do, you know, professionally, and then maybe what your side hustle has become, and kind of what your passion is.
You know, we have not enough hours in the day to discuss my past history, but I will tell you this. I've done everything from being a whitewater rafting guide to a private investigator in corporate formation, and, you know, slopping food on the table and serving as a waitress. You know, I've kind of been that person that has been searching her whole life to who the fuck am I? I hope it's okay to swear. I didn't ask you ahead of time.
Say it, girl. Preach it.
Honestly, what I'm doing right now professionally is all a result of a tumultuous time in my life. And I am currently an author, a producer, an editor, a director, a real estate agent, and my favorite title is Suicide Eradicator.
That's really cool. I mean, so you kind of exemplify in what was kind of interesting and attracting to me, which was that you're an entrepreneur by virtue of, like, you want to do something and you put your mind to it and you get to it. And it's really cool to see people like you and others who are out there kind of like, hey, I want to try that. And they put forth the best effort possible. And I can see that in your podcast over, you know, from the first shows to where you are today, you know, same here. It's like, you know, kind of in you're similar, just to dovetail off of what you said. You know, I actually did stand-up comedy from 1995 to 2000, and then, you know, decided to be a family person and do that and get into computers. And now it's like all of these things are kind of like gelling together, and it's really interesting and just the way that happens. So how do you feel like this has really come together for you now? Like you say, you're suicide eradicator. Maybe you can talk about that.
So, you know, I do have a background, and I did the acting thing too when I was younger, not on a big scale. I'd already had 2 children. At the time, I was a single mother who left an abusive relationship to try to just give them a better life, right? I had to make that decision. Hey, you know, do you want them to be the result of living in fear? Or do you want them to be the result of courage and bravery and strength and a strong mother who took the leap to try to give them a better life? So that at the time, trying to be an actress just didn't work out. So that's when I got into the corporate formation. I started trying to learn trades because I was a girl with a GED. I didn't graduate high school. I, you know, did some classes and tried to educate myself, but I knew I was savvy enough to learn on the job. So I started learning things, and eventually remarried, had 2 more kids. And then, of course, like everyone else, we were hit with the housing bust, and we had all of our money in real estate. We were doing well, and it was rough. You know, we lost everything. We had 4 children, the youngest being autistic, my oldest being bipolar, and it was rough. And then in March 22nd, 2011, my second born, he was 13 at the time, went upstairs and shot himself. And I was 39 years old and just devastated. Yeah, it was really tough. And he actually died in my arms that day too. So that was another really, and I'm bringing that up at this point to really explain that was a pivotal moment. Because when you are hit with a sledgehammer, it can be the loss of a loved one. It can be illnesses. There's so many things that all of us are getting hit with right now, right? When you're hit with that sledgehammer, you die. You die too. Because you have to be able to find out, once again, who the fuck you are so that you can learn to love that person again. Because they're gone. It's gone. That tragedy has changed everything. So it did take me a couple of years to, we're renting, we're barely making it. My husband's working 3 jobs.
Hold that thought, Kimberly.
Yeah.
Kimberly, hold that thought. So let's just backtrack one real quick second.
Sure.
So when you talk about, I mean, a fucking major event like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the stats are, but like, we're talking about divorce being in the 90%. Like, I mean, just the impact on relationships and your overall life. I mean, it's not just like, I don't mean to sound, it's like, some
sure.
And I'm just going to go back to my life. Like,
yeah.
We're talking like major,
yes.
right? In lieu of all the other stuff, you're talking about a major change, right? I mean,
in some ways, I think fate threw a lot at me prior to this event happening. My husband and I, again, we had twins, one of them being autistic. The twins were almost 4 at the time of this incident. So we'd already beat the odds. I mean, having a special needs child and really having to dive in and concentrate on, changing your life for that child. But I got to give my husband a lot of credit, because he looked at me and he said, we invited him here. He didn't ask to be here. We invited him here as husband and wife wanting a child, and we're going to accommodate that. And he's the one that's been very, very graceful in all of this, and understanding and realizing that a relationship is about carrying the burden at times for each other. And that is what made it work for us.
So I have some relatives that have autistic and Asperger's in their family as well. And that's, I think what you just said is like the underlying grace that they demonstrate to us. It's this thing that unless you're experiencing it firsthand, it's hard to articulate it. But, yeah. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to kind of get us off on a tangent.
You're okay.
So as that was all happening, I mean, I don't want to.
No, dig. I'm an open book, man.
So yeah. So I mean, obviously that tragedy happened, and so how did you transform from it being obviously a big gigantic bummer to something positive and what you're doing today and stuff?
It kind of started the day that he took his life, because one of the phone calls I got after leaving the hospital and all of that horrible uncomfortableness was, do you want to donate his organs? Right. And it's a horrible phone call to get, but you have to quickly make that decision because there's only a small window. And that made me realize there could be a gift still given from my son to this world.
Wow.
And
that's huge.
Sorry.
I don't know how you would even have the presence of mind to have that, thought. I mean, I would just be, anyway, keep going.
And I had to, because, I, being his biological mother as well, his biological father had since passed away. They had to speak to me directly. I had to make that decision. And I can't explain it other than I just heard, yes, Mom, do it, Mom.
Awesome.
It was a feeling. It wasn't, I'm not talking, a voice came down. It was just a feeling. Yes. It was a nudge, right? Listening to that. And
it's that inner voice, right? The inner voice.
Yeah. It's the inner voice. And then, I started thinking about all of Jason's friends. Jason was 6'1", at 13 years old, could pitch at 80 miles an hour, was the most popular kid in school. Just this amazing, amazing human, like a total light, right? And there was so many people affected, so many. And I started thinking, what else can I do in his name to change the way we're all feeling right now? Because I didn't want to feel this way. And then, of course, in between that, I'm getting drunk and, trying to deal with all of the pain. This was not easy. I sat with a knife cutting my wrist at times. I detail in my book that I had a knife to my throat. It took 2 years to dig through the syrup of just horrible, horrible pain that you wake up to every day. But
that residue still exists, right? I mean, it's traumatic effect. Syrup is probably a really good apropos.
Yeah, because it's like sticky and it doesn't get off. But I have to change. I had to change it, or I was never going to be able to live with it. So I did little things. I started raising funds for inner city kids to play baseball in his name, started a charity, Jason's Propulsion League. It was just tiny. I would gather gently used equipment, and just because selfishly, that's what kept me going. Otherwise I'd be in a corner drinking all day and looking for pills to pop if I could, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I was just holding on enough to feed the children and to find a purpose. And then 2 years had gone by. So 2013, January 2013, this was really significant. I'd started talking about suicide because there's such a stigma. People would, oh, I'm so sorry to hear you lost a child and what happened. You got to prepare yourself if you ask what happened, especially when you meet someone like me, I'm going to tell you. And sometimes they would look at me in disgust, like, well, what did you do to your child that he did that? And
wait. Stop.
Yeah.
Okay. It just floors me that there are still these crazy weirdo people in the world that are like racist, say stupid shit like that. Like, there's absolutely like no empathy or no consideration for what people, what words matter. I mean, they do matter. Let's be honest. Like,
they do.
If you're such a bad mom, what did you do? Like, oh, gee, that makes me feel great.
Yeah, I put cigarettes out on him. I mean, I like people that know you too. And here's the thing. This is what you have to remember, especially if you're a parent listening to this and you've just gone through this and you're feeling it. You get all sorts of, did he embrace Jesus? And it's like, you can't change their particular expectation of what you're going to say. You can't change that. The only thing you can say is your own truth. They're the ones who have to live with what you say.
True.
Because you're already in your truth.
Right.
So it doesn't matter their opinion. You're the one who has to live with it, right? You're the one who has to live with the situation you're going through. They asked a question, you're going to give them information. What they do with that, completely up to them.
That's a really good, thought process and emotional state, because when you put, the problem, which is theirs, back on them and don't absorb it, because that's the tendency, right? And in the situations is, you're trying to find an answer and trying to find reason. And so anyway, keep going. This is a very fascinating stuff.
So and there's a lot of guilt too. You're the parent and you're the one who's supposed to teach your children joy, and you're the one who's supposed to protect them. So yes, listening to those other people and their opinions can further smash you down and dig you further into that dark hole that you may not come back from. Mm-hmm. So January 2013, I had done a lot of speaking out. I've been on the news. I just felt like there wasn't enough people saying something. But at the same time, the reaction again, she's just a poor, simple mom, and we feel bad for her. And the message wasn't sinking in. It was tragic, it was moving, but it wasn't sinking in what I wanted to say. And that was, I guess, let me get to this part, and then I'll tell you the whole purpose as we go along. So January 2013, I remember very distinctly, we're in this like shitty rental because we've got 3 kids. 2 are special needs. Husband's a firefighter. It's not like we're making a ton of money. And I'm sitting with my glass of wine. That's what I did. It was sipping wine pretty much all day. And I'm looking around, and my twins are playing, and they're happy. And I'm looking at my oldest boy, who was only 12 months older than Jason. They did everything together, everything. Mm-hmm. And he was doing good. He was going to school. He was making friends. He was doing good. But I looked at my husband, and my husband was looking at me like I was going to break. And he was gaunt, and he was thin, and you could tell this was killing him. Not only all of the work, but it was killing him. Sure. And I said, I've got to change this. And the only thing I could think of to do was, Kimberly, you're really good at numbers. Let's figure out a way for you to buy a house again. Look into these, home in 5 and get yourself a loan. Well, we had a short sale 2 years before. We had to file bankruptcy after Jason. So we had a short sale and a bankruptcy. How are we going to get a loan, right? So for 2 months, I researched and I got a hold of someone that believed in me. And for 2 months, I sent in letters. I sent in death certificates. I showed bills. I showed where this hit us hard. And I got my approval with extenuating circumstances. One of the first that had ever been done in Arizona, but I couldn't find a real estate agent. A real estate agent would not go down that road with us because even though you have the approval, there's still the final underwriting. Mm-hmm. And no one had seen an extenuating circumstance get pushed through like that. And they're like, honey, we'll take you shopping. You'll get your heart set on a house and then it'll get canceled in the end. Mm. So I had no choice. I had to get my license. So March 21st, the day before the 2-year anniversary, 2013, I finished school, passed the test, and was licensed by March 30th. On June 1st, I closed on our house. And I used the commission for the down payment. But this moment is why I do what I do. And again, I'll never forget it. It needed a lot of work, this house, let me tell you. But we got it. And we went in, and the twins went running to the yard. And my husband was over in the kitchen, and I walked in the kitchen, and the look on his face, he had his legs again, he had his feet again. And it was the first time I felt joy again.
Nice.
Pure joy again. So, sorry, I didn't think I was going to get that emotional.
No, it's totally fine. Listen, I appreciate you being so vulnerable about that because, it's those moments where you triumph and become, resolute because of what you believe in and how you go about things. That's what makes things like that really super special. Yeah. So, I don't want to say congratulations, but just to have battled, really truly battled through, something like that. It's incredible. And, everybody forgets how in 2008, 2009, everything crashed, but everybody forgets what a fuck market it was trying to get certified, through 2013 even or 2014. It was super hard. Mm-hmm. And if you had, you could pay a whole bunch of points to get, a refi, but then you're going to pay a whole bunch of points. Yep. That totally sucks. So I can totally understand where you're coming from and feel about that. So after you guys got the house,
so the one thing as I was sitting there and, this is great and I'm going to make a career in real estate and here we go and I'm good at this. And, my dad was a stock trader and an entrepreneur too. And as a kid, I used to watch him negotiate over a scotch and a table of men, right? And I liked that part of this, and I'd already started on another transaction and I really liked it. But I also knew that there was a space for me. There was a need for an agent who, my motto is through home ownership or sales, I help families who have been through hardships start a new chapter. Because there's not enough that will do that. So I'm sitting there looking at the competition though at 41 years old, what kind of career am I really going to be able to make at this? And I said, who am I? And I said, I'm Tenacious T. And that's how I started introducing myself because not only do I completely understand what it's like to be in the lowest of the low, but I can also put myself in their shoes and fight for them just like I did that day for us. And
I could see a Netflix show in your future, honestly, because
thank you. I'll take it.
I saw that. You see these Selling Sunset and all that shit. It's whatever. That's Vapid City. But I mean, for what you're doing is this true, service to people and helping people out. Those backstories would be fascinating. So you basically started up, becoming an intuitive broker, right? You were working with people to, better their lives. And not that, most people aren't bettering their lives when they buy houses, but you were plugging into a niche where you know,
Yes.
others were like, man, I don't want to help here. I'm too busy. I got to make my nut or whatever. You were like, okay, I do it.
Yeah. So I also started giving back 25% of my commission towards their closing costs. If they were first responders, VAs, teachers, parents of special needs, I have a whole group. And after a couple of years, I was breaking records and winning awards. And I'm like, I have an idea. If I can succeed at selling 10 to 15 million a year as a solo agent, mentoring agents because I needed the help, and also get on HGTV, then I can strategically start placing my word about the stigma of suicide and what we can do for kids.
Yeah, totally.
So
absolutely.
That was my next big goal. And lo and behold, using my knowledge of what a Super Bowl commercial should look like, because I decided there wasn't enough Super Bowl commercials out there. Tenacious T needs to start marketing and advertising real estate. And that's what I did, because it's all I knew how to do creatively. So I made these lifestyle videos and different ads based on Westworld or Pirates or whatever I was into. I was going to create what I wanted to see. And I caught the eye of Pool Hunters, HGTV's new series called Pool Hunters. And they put me on the inaugural episode, which aired July 6th of last year and was the top 10 most watched that night. And that's when I knew it was time to finish the book and launch the book and launch my podcast. So
nice.
That's when it came along.
What a great, story. It's tragic to a certain extent, but that's the warrior in all of us to sort of overcome those challenges. You also, when you post stuff on Instagram, you also talk about fun things and stuff too. And clearly, I wouldn't say that you've moved on, but you show that it's okay to kind of move forward and have joy and be happiness. Would you be willing to do a little lightning round maybe before we wrap it up? Just so
totally. And then I do want to say real quick that you do hold on to that guilt. Like, why should I be happy when my child's not here? And that is something I held very close for a long time until I realized that my child is here, whether you want to believe that they're watching. This is what he would want. He doesn't want the sad mom. He wants the fucking rock star. That's what he wants. Doubt. He's not here to do that, so I'm going to do it for him. Exactly. Yep. So, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? I know I can. First question, because I think I know your answer to this. Are you a texter or a talker?
Oh, I'm a texter. Texter. Yeah. Okay. That's a tough one. I tell stories very, very well. I love to animate, but I'm actually an introvert in a lot of ways. So I prefer a texting, and then I'll start recording my voice, and then we'll start talking. But I do like texting. It's mysterious and fun.
I'm kind of on the same tip with you. I think the days of picking up the phone to call people are kind of, dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you?
Oh God. 5.
And are you better than your husband?
Oh God, no. Come on, I'm a woman. Is there a woman? Well, there's a couple of women drivers. No, I don't know.
You were doing a little IGTV driving the other day. I was like, yes. Oh my God.
Oh, okay. I changed my answer. I'm a 10 driver. I've never had any issue. I just like to drive my Mustang. My Mustang is actually my nod to Jason. So I try to get a really nice Mustang.
Hey, everybody. Yeah. I'm driving.
Well, when the lighting's good and it's coming in the front windshield, you're like, ooh, yeah.
I cannot fault you for Arizona weather. My oldest daughter lives out in Scottsdale as well area. And come on.
Come on. It was a photo op.
I know, right? Okay. Next question. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
So part of my own personal journey is to get up early. I love that quiet time, 5:30 in the morning. Everyone's still asleep. I can get the coffee, go outside, and just veg on life. Be grateful for what I have, look at my pool and say, geez, where were you 10 years ago? I'm an early bird. It's beautiful.
What kind of coffee are you drinking in the morning when you do that?
Oh, I'm picky. I like Hawaiian coffee. I like a fresh brew.
Oh, I love coffee. Okay, I like the Kauai blend myself, but
yeah, it's the Kona coffee. Going to Hawaii spoiled me, and for some reason too, you still have to be in Hawaii for it to taste as good. But Hawaiian coffee is my favorite. Yeah.
In fact, in my whiskey club that we do every week, one of the guys is also a Hawaii file, and he was just like, we have so many of the same things, including, Kauai coffee and Kona coffee. It's all
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, next question. Brad Pitt, Bradley Cooper, or Robert Redford, and why?
Robert Redford. He is graceful and elegant and extremely intelligent. And he doesn't overemphasize his beauty. He lets you get to know him for who he is. And not that we really know a lot about his personal life, but he was never one to, in my personal opinion, be like, I'm here. And I see that a lot with actors and actresses these days. Now, don't get me wrong. Brad Pitt is amazingly gorgeous. And Bradley Cooper, I would totally hang out and get stoned with that guy. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's funny. My wife and I just started rewatching Alias from back in the day, and it's like, oh my God, Bradley Cooper. He's like literally about half the size of where he is today and stuff. It's really how he's transformed himself over time. Okay. You and I are I have a feeling we're practically about the same age. Van Halen or Aerosmith?
Oh, come on. Van Halen.
All right. And, that's the right answer, by the way.
I have the shoes to prove it.
Van Hagar or Van Roth?
Oh. Hagar.
Wrong answer. No, I'm just kidding. There's no wrong answer there. That's for sure.
Because I got to see that concert with my husband. That's why. Yeah. So it edged it out. There was some good kissing going on.
I mean, did you ever see that meme of I think it's Bill Clinton and Sammy Hagar next to each other, and they're like, these dudes are the same age. It's pretty
right.
funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Bill Clinton looks totally worked, and Sammy Hagar is like,
yeah, exactly.
Okay, next, Godfather or Star Wars?
I'm a total geek. Star Wars, yes. I love The Godfather and all of that, but I was raised on Star Trek and the old Spider-Man show and Batman. That's my gig. That's my thing. I like vampires too.
Biff, Bam, Boo. Oh, those are the best.
Yes. Wild Wild West back then too. That was an amazing show. I have a little ad maybe coming out, a spoof of that one.
We are definitely on the same generation too.
Yeah.
But we are doing a podcast right now.
I need my shirt ripped and someone that's to kiss me now.
I'm wearing a tight yellow shirt on a show.
And I'm going to sit here and smolder.
Okay, what's your go-to adult beverage? I think you said wine before, but I'm just gonna put it up there.
If I could choose anything right now sitting here, it would be Johnny Walker Blue.
Johnny Walker what?
Blue.
Okay, all right, fair enough. A little scotch. Oh, I'm good with
nice
that.
And smooth. You can sip it. You can have, and it gives you. There's something that happens to me when I have a cigar and a scotch. it brings out exactly, yes.
Hey man, you and I are on the same tip. So so when we do Whiskey Club, we were more into the Isla peated stuff. So it's more briny and that kind of thing, which is cool too. But I definitely like a little blue. I definitely like kind of more of the commercialized scotches. But that's a great choice right there. Yeah.
Thank you.
You might have to get one after talking to me today.
Oh, yay. My husband would be really happy too. He's a big Scotch guy, so.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, on that note, what is your favorite cheat food?
My favorite cheat food, I'm an ice cream girl and a cookie girl and a cake girl. So cookies with a big piece of cake and a big scoop of ice cream. That's my cheat.
I just bought ice cream from Nick's online. Have you ever heard of those guys?
No, I have not.
It's a keto-based ice cream, and I've tried them all, and this one was easily the best I've had.
Yeah, see, this is where I get snobby. If I'm actually going to allow that into the body, I want the full meal deal on it. I want the good stuff.
You have a favorite ice cream?
You know what? I do, and it's for many reasons. It's 31 flavors. I guess it's what is it, Robin's, whatever, but it was 31 flavors to me as a kid.
I'm 31 flavors too, yeah.
The chocolate chip. There's nothing like those paper thin, like pieces of chocolate that are in there, and the way that they crackle and melt in your mouth. Mm-hmm. It is the ice cream. If you haven't had it in a while, you should go.
No, it's funny because I was just thinking about that because I like the Talenti, I think it's called Stracciatella. It's basically that, but it's thinner even more. I like that better personally. So I don't try not to eat too much ice cream. Not me
neither. If you looked at this body, I'm almost 50. I can't be.
Hey, smoking cigars, drinking scotch, and eating ice cream. Hey, everybody, this is what your 50s looks like. Okay, last question. Obviously, COVID has been a really big deal. So once it wraps, I'm sure you, like everybody else, has been thinking about that first vacation destination. Yeah. That is like, we're no masks and we're blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, where do you go? What's the play?
We are going to stop off in Disneyland for a couple of days. I'm a Disney girl. I've gone every single year since I was 2 years old. I found a way to do it no matter what. And this is the longest I've gone without going because we went to Disney World the year before and thus the pirates in my life. So a couple of nights in Disneyland and then Hawaii. Hawaii is my place. That's it.
That's your go-to. Any specific island in Hawaii?
We will most likely go back to Oahu. I want to show the twins Pearl Harbor. They weren't old enough the last time we went there to tour Pearl Harbor. And there's a lot to see there, but it's very, very special to us.
Do you have a specific place, like when you go to Oahu, that like a city, or you just stay in the jungle down there?
Yeah, the jungle. I like to stay at the Ko'olina side. The Ko'olina, where the Disney resort is there too.
Disney, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
But we don't go for the Disney resort. It's on that side. I'll do a timeshare. I always I rent a timeshare because a lot of people are desperate to get them rented. They can't go themselves. They'd rather not have to pay all the fees. So I can get a really nice oceanfront 2-bedroom right there on Ko'olina Shores, and it's beautiful on that side. So
I take it you're taking the kids with you.
We do. We take the kids everywhere. I've never left them more than a couple of nights. It's, we'll get a 2-bedroom. We can do what we need to do. But yeah, the children are a huge part of my life. It's hard for me. Yeah.
No, just like, if your most ideal vacation is that way, then more power to you. We're for the most part empty nesters at this point. So it's like, where to?
Yeah, and we'll have plenty of time to do that when we're empty nesters. So I'm going to enjoy it again.
We actually, so my youngest daughter, she went to UH for a year. She played water polo over there and stuff. And we were going to move her out in May before COVID shut it all down. And so we actually decided not to stay in the jungle this time. And because we really like the North Shore anyway, we find ourselves driving an hour up the island anyways. So we're like, well, why don't we just make home base, So we found this Verbo on for Sunset Beach, and it's like literally on the beach. It's amazing. And then COVID hit, and then it's like, well, sorry, you don't get your money back. So be careful to all y'all who are thinking about going to Hawaii. Well, it's tricky at the moment, but anyway.
Hawaii is beautiful.
Kimberly, thank you so much for talking with me today. And is there anything that you want to promote or let people know about?
Yes, check out my show, That Bitchin' Real Estate Show. It's about all the rad bitchin' people I've met along this journey. They're inspiring stories of overcoming with very successful people. There's no agenda, it's just stories, how to overcome. My book as well, it's called Overcome, Memoirs of a Suicide. It is written to retrace the steps of the first year and how I got through it and what I'm doing now. And then, of course, I'm a kick-ass real estate agent, so call me.
We like that. No, that's really great. So definitely. So Kimberly, thank you so much for meeting with me today and talking with everybody, and wishing you, obviously a lot of love and best of luck. And hopefully the weather will stay super pristine for the next couple months there, and you can enjoy those mornings with coffee and thoughts.
Yes, thank you very much. And I will try to drive safer.
All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye. See ya. Bye.